guys, welcome back to my channel. In this lesson, we're discussing how to solve matrix equation. So we see a question in front of us. Let's start. Okay, so the matrix X satisfies this equation. Find X. So we need to make X the subject. That means that this entire matrix needs to go to the other side. And when you take a matrix to the other side, it becomes the inverse of itself. So what will happen is that this matrix will go to the other side and become inverse of the same matrix. Now you have to make sure that since this matrix is towards the right side of X, its inverse is going to be towards the right side as well. So in the next question, we'll see that this matrix is towards the left hand side. So we'll also keep the inverse towards the left hand side. That is, in that case, we'll keep the inverse over here. So for now, this equation becomes X equals 0, 2, and the matrix inverse ends up at the right hand side. The order is very important. Okay, so now what we need to do is find the inverse of the function. So I've already taught you how to find the inverse in the previous video. So let's just quickly go about it. We'll first find the determinant. So what's the determinant going to be? Multiply these two. So that's a -4. And then put a negative sign and multiply these two. So that's a -3. So the determinant is -4 plus 3, which is -1. So the inverse becomes 1 over, you have to write the determinant in the denominator, and then you swap the places of these two. So we have -2 here and 2 here, and then you change the sign of this, so that becomes a 3, and you also change the sign of this, so that becomes a -. So now the complete inverse would be, this is just -1. 1 divided by -1 is just -1. So I'm going to multiply -1 with all of these entries. And that's just the inverse of 2, 1, -3, -2. So instead of the inverse matrix, now I'm going to write this. And now we'll simply multiply these two. We've learned multiplication in a video earlier as well. So I'm just quickly going to do that. So this has an order of 1 by 2 and this has an order of 2 by 2. So that means multiplication is possible and the order of the resultant matrix will be 1 row, 2 columns. So it's going to look like this. So the first one will be this times this. So that's going to be 0 times 2 plus 2 times -3. So we get a -6. So we get a -6 here. And then we multiply 0, 2 with 1 minus 1. So 0 times 1 plus 2 times -2. That gives a -4. So we write -4 over here. So that's the value of X, -6, -4. All right, here's another one. So we have to solve this equation. I'll substitute the matrix A. In fact, no, I'll first take A to the other side. And this time, since A is towards the left, so its inverse is also going to land at the left-hand side. Now at the side, I'll find A inverse. So to find A inverse, first I'll have to find the determinant of A, which is going to be product of these two, which is 0 times 3 minus product of these two, which is 1 times -2. So we're getting a 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. So the determinant is 2. So the inverse is going to be 1 upon determinant. Then you swap the places of these two. So 0, 3. You change the sign of this. 2, and you change the sign of this, -1. So that's the inverse of A. Now I'm going to substitute the value here. So x equals half. You may multiply half with all the individual entries inside, or you just may keep that for later. So I'm going to keep half outside for now, and I'll deal with that later. So now I need to multiply the two matrices. So we have 2 by 2 here and 2 by 1 here. Multiplication is possible because these two numbers are the same, and the resultant is going to be half times the resultant matrix will have an order of 2 by 1. 2 by 1 means it will have two rows and just one column. So it's going to look like this. So now I need the individual entries. So I'll do the working over here. So this one is first row, first column. So for that we multiply this first row with this first column. So the first value gets multiplied with the first value, 0 times 3, plus the second value gets multiplied with the second value. So we're getting a 4 over here. So the value here is 4. For the next one, it's the second row, first column. So second row gets multiplied with the first column. So again, first value gets multiplied with the first value, plus second value gets multiplied with the second value. So that's 6 minus 12, which is -6. So we get a -6 over here. And then we can multiply 2. So the answer would be, multiply half with all these values. So answer is going to be 2 and -3. All right, here's another one. Find the matrix X such that we're given this set of equations. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to make X the subject. For that, this has to go to the other side. However, we can't find inverse of 3, 2. It's not a 2 by 2 matrix. We can only find inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. So what do we do now? Now, what we do is we write down the order of this matrix. We write down the order of this matrix 1 by 2. And now we figure out what's going to be the order of X. The order of X has to be, it has to be 1 over here. And the other value over here must be 2 from here. Why is that? How do I know? How do I know that the order of X is 2 by 1? It's because these two values have to be equal in order for multiplication to take place. So if this is 1, this has to be 1 as well. Secondly, we also know that this and this becomes the order here as well. So this will have 2 rows and this will have 2 columns. So that's why the order of X is going to be 2 by 1. So if it's 2 by 1, so it could be 2 rows, 1 column. So it's going to be something like this. 2 rows and 1 column. And then there's 3, 2 with it. And then the answer is 6 minus 3, 4 minus 2. Okay, so now let's call it A and B. So if that's A, then we'll get this by multiplying this and this. So 3A equals 6. So that means A equals 2. Similarly, we'll get this by multiplying the second row with the first column. So 3B equals -3. So B equals -1. So the matrix X is 2 minus 1. All right, that's it from this topic, and I'll see you next time. Bye.